Hello everybody, this is me, Dusty Circuit, here to bring you another Kerbal Space Program video. In the last episode, I deployed a base onto the moon life of the Anhetta system. Also drove around with a rover a little bit, and I also struggled more than I ever did in my entire time playing Kerbal Space Program with docking, only to realize it was because this craft is probably longer than the default physics range, and I had my physics range extender mod turned off while I was trying to dock. And as soon as I turned that on, I was able to dock no problem. But in this video, there is one more moon left, Enots over there. So I think we'll land on that one with my plane. And also, to keep up with the tradition of at least my videos, I'm going to also dive my plane into Anhetta's atmosphere, or at least attempt to. So I guess let's leave life now. I think actually I might leave the ship docked here and then just send the plane out by itself. Because this thing's just going to be big and hard to maneuver around. And Enots has a very small sphere of influence, so it's probably going to be pretty difficult to get a encounter with this whole ship. I should probably change the icon. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there though. There's the planet or the moon. And this one actually looks pretty crazy, as it's almost like just a cylinder with ridges on it, which is pretty. It's probably one of the most interesting moons of like really I've ever seen in this game. I was wondering we're gonna get an encounter with this thing. Hey, we're in orbit. Well, actually, we're not. We're gonna land, which is actually what I want to do anyway. Actually, I don't think we need the landing gear for this. Hey, all we have to do is make sure we don't run into the ground too hard, and we'll actually be able to land. It was a little more violent than I was hoping for, but we'll deal with it. Well, actually, I'll extend landing gear just to absorb the impact. Yeah, also very low gravity here. Oh, I think it actually would have been made for a cooler view if we actually went on top of one of the ridges as opposed to like going in the canyons, but oh well. And I think we'll just do a little bit of an EVA. I don't know, maybe we can fly up to one of the ridges. And there's the science reports if you want to read them. Yeah, it's always fun traversing this kind of terrain in very low gravity. Well, I guess we already planted a flag, so I guess we can't do one up here. Oh, come on. Can you please let me... There we go. Okay, let's skip. Gotta get back to the plane, but we need to be careful how much EVA propellant we use. Well, luckily most of this is just waiting to fall. As opposed to actually having to fight gravity to go up. Why are we floating? Okay, that's weird. Okay, I'm going to refuel the space plane from here, and then we'll take off, re-rendezvous with the interstellar vehicle, and then I think we'll come in for the dive into Anhetta's atmosphere, or position myself to do that. Okay, we're so ready to take off. Okay, we're already on an escape course. Goodbye, Enots. Okay, now we're just gonna get to a pretty low orbit over Anhetta, and then I'm gonna undock my plane and we're gonna go in for the dive. Okay, we're done circularizing into our low orbit. So from here, we're going to launch the space plane. So really what my goal is we need to enter the atmosphere at a slow enough speed that we're not just going to immediately melt upon contact with the atmosphere. Because Anhetta's atmosphere actually is pretty dense, at least compared to some of the OPM planets, like or the Outer Planets mod. So, and I've actually tested this prior to doing this video to see, well, is it possible to pull off an Anhetta dive with this plane? And the results actually kind of surprised me, like of just how good these engines are I'm using. And Bogue actually attempted to do this, but they didn't succeed. But Anhetta is actually very lot harder to actually pull off a dive, or like a gas giant dive on, because it's very dense atmosphere, and also I think it has a higher gravity than any of the other like gas giant planets I've been to. So at least so far. So yeah, I think we want to slow down a considerable amount from where we are at right now. Though we need to also bear in mind, we also need to save enough delta V to escape the planet as well. And we're going to be entering the atmosphere right about now. I guess we'll find out if we're actually going slow enough to be safe. The firefly effects will never get old for me. Okay, looks like we are safe heat-wise. And I did not have any cheats on for this, which is means I'm not using infinite temperature just to make my plane survive. I feel like I'm probably not going to talk much through this. I'll just let you enjoy the ambiance of the thunder and lightning and the clouds as we descend. Oh, we're entering the underworld now. I don't think I'm brave enough to put one of my Kerbals on EVA during this. I guess maybe we could do a little bit of science. just kind of was like pausing for a little bit just so I could take in a bit of the ambiance. Science reports actually suggest this planet actually is mostly composed, like at least the clouds of this planet are mostly composed of water vapor, which actually is kind of interesting for a gas giant, though there are many, at least in our real universe, there are many like exoplanets that actually could be composed of water vapor, gas giants. And escaping as the atmosphere is kind of a bit of a balancing act between, like, how high you're up in the atmosphere to avoid the aerodynamic heating of flying very fast versus being low enough for the engines to function, or for the atmosphere to be thick enough for the engines to function. Looks like from here on we're going to be relying on the liquid fuel burning mode of our engines. Okay, we're actually in orbit. This now is just to get an encounter with our mothership. Okay, I seem to have ran into this problem, the same problem I had around life, where I just couldn't dock to say for the life of me. Having that about here, just above the atmosphere of Anhetta here, and well, given my mission is basically over at this point, and it just seems like no amount of reloading my game, and also this physics range extender mod that it seems like is required to allow me to dock with this large spacecraft, which helped me out of the previous situation. It seems like it just isn't working now, because if I bracket over to the my main mothership, and then I enable persistent thrust on its main engines, and then bracket back to the space plane, and then I just rocket away. You know how because I'm in physics range, I can't do time warp. Still can't do time warp. Still can't time warp. Still can't time warp. Still can't time warp. Now I can time warp. And that kicked in as soon as I got out of the vanilla physics range. Yeah, I can't do time warp. Now I can do time warp, which means this physics range extender mod appears to be not working. It just doesn't do anything. And I have tried like everything, even everything that helped me in the previous situation, and this just isn't working. So I guess, just like a lot of KSP missions, I guess this one's just doomed to be crippled by these bugs. So what I'm gonna do, since our mission is technically over at this point, I'm going to just transfer all of my Kerbals and science data off this plane and onto the mothership there. And then we're just going to leave this plane behind and then head home. And I guess once we're in the Kerbal system, I'm going to I'm just going to send another plane to actually bring all my Kerbals back home off the mothership. So let me go ahead and transfer all the Kerbals and science onto the mothership. Okay, and I guess we can send this plane to its demise. And how I'm able to control this with no kerbals in it is has a probe core. Yeah, this thing's probably just gonna immediately explode, but I guess we'll see. Like the whole physics of gas giants and like ship destruction seems to have be different. Like it's like I've seen videos of people diving a spaceship into Joule, and already by this point the ship would have exploded a long time ago. And it's still going. Go a little longer, see like do we run into anything interesting. Seems like with the volumetric clouds, even well below the actual surface, quote-unquote surface of a gas giant, there's still multiple layers of clouds. I don't know, maybe I'll actually do like a probe mission where I actually send a probe like way deep down inside of a planet like this. Maybe it could be an idea for another mission, but this plane is probably experiencing super high pressures at this point. So let's, I guess, simulate its destruction. there's practically nothing left of this thing anymore, so I guess I'll end my video here. This has been me, Dusty Circuit, here with another Kerbal Space Program video. And if you liked what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more KSP content, be sure to hit the bell for notifications. And peace out. Bye.